Joe Biden, he was behind the Obama administration's gun control effort back when he was vice president after the Sandy Hook shooting. And that wound up being mostly executive actions that President Obama took. So now that former Vice President Biden is now President Biden, is he thinking about a similar approach? What's the White House thinking right now?
Yeah, Jeff, this is an issue that is very familiar to President Biden. As you noted, former President Obama had put him in charge of looking into what they could do after that Sandy Hook shooting. And they've largely wound up where potentially the president is going to wind up in this situation, which is taking the executive action route. Now, the president has said that he wants the Senate to pass the House legislation that's already passed. So he's pushing for existing legislation to move through Congress, but nothing new. And at the same time, officials say that he's looking at taking executive actions. And there's a range of actions that they say that he's looking at. One area that he could make some headway on is on strengthening background checks. For instance, he could do some things executively. He could send more funding to cities to help fight gun violence, things like that. But the real teeth is going to come in legislation. And as you noted, the Senate's out for a couple of weeks. So there's nothing that's going to happen imminently, even if the president could ultimately get the Senate to move and get to a 60-vote threshold that he would need for the Senate to pass this legislation and do things like he said to renew the assault weapons ban, expand background checks, ban high-capacity magazines, things like that. In the meantime, he's looking at executive action, and frankly, that's just something that is a tool that he has, but it's not going to do have the kind of impact that we've heard the president talk about wanting to have on this issue for a really long time now.
Yeah, and Garrett, we just saw a bipartisan group of lawmakers talk about what's happening at the border. Is there any chance we might see that same group or a different group of Democrats and Republicans try to work together to address gun violence?
Oh, sure. It's possible they'll sit down and talk. But on this particular issue, not too differently from immigration, emotions run high on both sides. And finding room for compromise here has been the challenge. I mean, it was back in 2013 where you had the last kind of major effort for a gun control push on what was then the Manchin-Toomey bill. In this same space right now, you don't have all Democrats on board. Joe Manchin thinks those background check bills that pass the House go too far. There's been very little interest from Republicans in reforming the same elements around gun safety measures as Democrats want to reform. I think maybe the sweet spot in the middle here, I have heard a lot of conversation recently around red flag laws. A lot of these laws exist in even conservative states like Florida or Indiana, and there's some interest on the Republican side in maybe trying to deal with the mental health aspect of this. That makes gun advocates on the other side a little bit nervous, but that red flag law might be the kind of middle ground here. I'm struck, as you mentioned and as Carol mentioned, by the fact that the Senate is going home now. This has been a problem that has bedeviled the gun safety movement for quite some time, because after these major shootings, you do see this surge in interest, a surge in focus, and then it kind of dissipates over time. And we only really get serious about this on Capitol Hill around tragedies. And that has been the pattern for years.
Yeah, it's a great point. And Jim, you worked in the White House. You also led the Obama-backed Organizing for Action group that pushed for gun control. To Garrett's point, Democrats right now aren't all on board with the current gun legislation that's being considered. Republicans don't have much of an incentive to work with Democrats. There's a new poll out showing that 2/3 of Americans want tougher gun laws, but that number is dropping among Republicans. So given all of that, what is the best way forward for President Biden? How should he navigate all of this, do you think?
Well, this is one of these issues that makes the American public think that Washington has lost their minds. You have 90% support for background checks. The red flag law that Garrett was talking about has 85% support. And you have a president who feels very deeply and has huge history with these issues. As you know, he was co-sponsor in the 1990s of the assault weapon ban. He obviously led the efforts for President Obama to figure out what to do and how to move forward. And so what Biden needs to do is say to the country, it's time to actually get something done here.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.